Hey all, Pay Marine here with another status report. Now, it has been a long time since I've had any kind of videos, and it's uh, unfortunately still going to be kind of another break between them. But a lot of change and different things are going on. One big change you may notice is my awesome haircut. Finally, just gave in. Figured it's not growing back, no matter how much I just try to hold on to what little I had kind of in the front here. So I just decided to go for it. And then I'm trying to see how this looks. I'm gonna grow out the mustache. I've grown it before, but I had my scraps before. But maybe this will help offset a little bit. I had my beard, but it was getting a little too scratchy, so I kind of shaved it down to just the mustache. But other than that, as you can kind of see, things are looking a little bare in the display case. I just really kind of have some of my showcase models that I've entered in different things, and particularly those ones are ones that won at different stuff. So that's why I keep them in there. Um, but yeah, so I've mentioned it before, and it's been kind of an ongoing thing. But I am in the process of moving to either different state or further north in the state I'm currently in. Um, it just kind of depends on when we get up there. But my work definitely has me moving around a decent amount, and then also I travel a decent amount for work, even after I move. So um, keeps me very busy, unfortunately, as far as like hobby aspect goes, and then with the family as well. Definitely have to prioritize things, and unfortunately, in some ways, the hobby kind of takes the back burner to a lot of it. I wish, like right after family, I wish I could throw in hobby time, but unfortunately, like work kind of pushes hobby time in there. Maybe one day work will be hobby time, but as of right now, it is not. Um, so yeah, so a lot of packing up to do, which has pushed really any painting or anything hobby wise kind of off, and which is really unfortunate because uh, this past year, 2022, saw like no hobbying, no games played again. Unfortunately, I haven't really played since early 2020, which is when the big pandemic started. So that was really the last big time I've actually gamed or done any gaming at all. I've continued to hobby as much as I can. 2021, I saw a decent amount of progress, was able to get a few things done. But then 2022, again, just a big hit as far as that goes. Um, with that being said, like again, like I want to get, hopefully back on track, get my Star Commanders painted. I've fallen pretty far behind on a lot of things there with the when what was it, not Indominus. Oh, what is that box set that came out? Was it Indominus? I don't know. The one that came with like uh the I call the Blade Guard. I can't remember what they're called now. Man, this has been a minute. Um, but it came with like the Necrons, the new Necrons, and then the new like Primaris stuff that they released then. I was trying to get caught up on that, really haven't. I've got the whatever that bunker thing is called. I mean, a lot of stuff is primed and built. I've got like the what are the impulsors, which those are like the little troop open bed little troop transport things, and then there's like the tank versions of those too now. Like I have all those built and primed, just not painted. Got a ton of infantry type units still. I've got just too much stuff already, and then of course we've got what the Augusta box set coming out, Strike Force Augustus or Augusta, and I want to get that of course because I like keep up on the Primaris stuff for my Star Commanders. Um, but again, it's just kind of like one of those things where I feel like some of that stuff's gonna get pushed, and I mean, I may jump on some of those things in there first, and other things that have been around for a lot longer are gonna get kind of pushed to the side. But that's kind of the name of the game. I, I unfortunately was not able to capitalize on the fairly large break in between new Space Marine Primaris models being released. Um, there was some Horus Heresy stuff that came out, and it got me tempted, and I dove right back in and started building up my Alpha Legion, which has been I've been collecting a lot of the character models from the past, so I've had a lot of like the early Forge World exclusive models, and they've just been kind of sitting forever. And I painted some Alpha Legion as commissions for people, and so that I was able to actually hone in my color scheme whenever I got to it. Had a huge Salamanders army, but because of just financial reasons or whatever, I had to sell it. It was very hard to part with it, but it's kicking around somewhere in Minnesota, last I knew. So if you're in the Minnesota area, I think I'm gonna say southern Minnesota, like Minneapolis, probably areas like I don't know. Minneapolis isn't quite mid Minnesota; it's kind of like just below middle by a decent amount. But anyway, lower half of Minnesota, I think. It maybe is kicking around there, maybe not. Um, but yeah, it was very hard to part with that. And then with the new upgrades and things I saw for Salamanders, looks really super tempting to get them. But I have a plan. Uh, Hopefully it works out with Nova this year to do some Heresy events with a buddy of mine. He's got Space Wolves, so I was actually planning on doing a squad that looks like they're kind of like uh, camouflaging, or what do you want to call it, like morphing into like Space Wolves, because Alpha Legion kind of infiltrate and stuff. So I was going to do that, but then I'm also thinking about doing a few different things with other squads to kind of do the same. Like, so do one with Salamanders as like a kind of call out to my Salamanders army, Space Wolves for my buddy's army, so we can kind of blend there. But I was also thinking doing Dark Angels as well, because that was technically my first army that I got. Which is, I kind of love hate thing. Like, I like the Dark Angels, the aesthetics. I love their lore, but I really super fell in love with Salamanders. It's like one of those things where, like, when you meet the right, it's like when you meet the right person, the right one, right? Like, you're like, man, why couldn't I have met you earlier? I had fun, and I don't um, discount my previous experience in relationships, but if I would have just met you from the bat, but who knows? Like you said, like you gotta learn your likes and dislikes, and I think that's kind of what it was with Dark Angels. It was my foot in the door, kind of my jump from playing Dawn of War into the tabletop finally. Didn't know a whole lot, and this was when I first bought my first Dark Angels. This was before Dark Vengeance was out. This was in 5th edition, and I'm not sure even what box set they had out. I didn't buy a box set right off. I just bought the Dark Angels Codex. Um, got a commander kit, some scout snipers because they looked cool, and the drop pod because again they also looked pretty cool. But I had no idea how any of it played together or didn't play together or what. So, um, but anyway, that's kind of my thought there. Um, but other stuff, like, unfortunately didn't get my Armies on Parade stuff done. I'm still got a whole heap of stuff I got to do with that, because I had a lot done, and now with this move I want to take what I have and get it transported and everything, but that's going to be a little tricky. But again, it's just like I definitely don't want to trash what I have, because I can definitely hopefully get it done for this next year. But again, with this move, and I don't know how busy I'll be with work again, and all of that. Plus, trying to get ready for Nova, because right now, like, I have a lot of my Alpha Legion built, but nothing even primed at this point, because I was waiting for the shoulder pads and helmets to come out, because I want to, like, make them more Alpha Legion looking, even though, like, you could kind of do them as whatever. Um, anyway, so I want to get those, because I want to get like I want to get those upgrades and go from there. But they've announced them, but they take forever before you can even pre-order them and get them. So, yeah, and then because really it's end of January, February time frame right now. So Nova is in September, so I'm already looking at 8 months. Maybe even like less than that, and like when you factor in like work, I could almost cut any months I have left in half when you factor in work and family. Like, 8 months seems like a plenty of time to build and paint a whole army, but in reality it's like 4 months. And then when those 4 months like come along, like, is it really even going to be a true 4 months? Like, hopefully it's longer, but most likely it gets cut down even more. Plus, I've got so many other things I want to get done. Especially trying to do an Armies on Parade board and get that finished. At least I have a good start. Hopefully I can get it finished for this year, but again, things happen. Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, that's kind of really it for right now that I can really go on about. Like I said, I'm packing up, trying to get a few things finished. I got my Votan as well. I haven't, like, I definitely want to get them up to a standard where I can at least play them a little bit just to get back into the rules and back into playing. Um, but again, like, I'm still building a lot with them. Like, I had gotten two of the box sets. They're built, and I would say prime, not even prime, but even first layers down, with the scheme I'm going with, which I still have this kind of test model here, which I'm not sure how well that might focus up. But anyway, so, uh, but I still have a bunch of like vehicles and like Thunderkit and stuff to build, and then prime and paint and all that. So there's a lot to do there. And then the other big thing I want to try to get done, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, is get my Thunderhawk for my Star Commanders done. It's actually sitting right here in front of me right now. It doesn't have the front canopy on. I've got like, it's been sitting here for a good minute. A decent amount as like the colors on it and stuff. Put some of the decals and things. I'm actually going to put probably another number 42 here. And 42, if you're familiar with 42, Starship 42 is Buzz Lightyear's starship on the animated show Buzz Lightyear Star Command from the early 2000s, which is what my chapter is actually based on, not just Buzz Lightyear or Toy Story. It's actually really not, except for the Eliminators, which I kind of did in more of a Green Army Men kind of subdued color. There's really no connection. Well, let me rephrase. And the chapter master's name is Andreas, so like kind of a play on Andy. But other than that, there's not a Toy Story direct connection. It's supposed to be more connected to the animated show that, for whatever reason, has kind of been buried and I guess retconned with the new Lightyear movie that came out. But it's a great, if you can find it online. I had a video where I had the intro to it and kind of explained how I came up with my chapter, what its actual origins are, the different little shout outs to different characters and things from the show in my chapter, which got blocked and demonetized because of copyright, because I guess I had that intro in there. I got to go back in there and maybe try to re-edit and re-upload it and share it with everyone so people can kind of see. But yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. It's been up for forever, for years. Well, I say, yeah, since like 2018, 2019, it's been up. And then it was just like within this last, I don't know, 6 or 7 months or so, I got like this copyright strike, and I was like, okay, cool. But anyway, yeah, so this is where it's at right now. I mean, I've got the canopy over here as well. I've got like a liquid masking thing that I put over it that, once I get this kind of edge highlighted and stuff, I'm still thinking I'm probably going to use, I have the Tamiya Clear, probably going to do a blue on the inside, and then when you put it on, it'll be kind of like a blue color. I also want to get some lights. I'd like to have, because there's like these little holes on the side here, they're supposed to be like ladder wells, you probably can't really see, but I want to get some lights to kind of come up so they kind of shine into this cockpit area. And then I don't really paint the interiors, but then there's plenty of room to throw a battery and a switch and stuff, and then be able to have lights and then have the canopy on, and then have like some ambient light kind of in here. I think would be pretty cool. But really, other than that, like I said, all the base colors are down. Like pretty much this half is done as far as edge highlighting with the green. I'm going through and edge highlighting the green on this side. The purple's already been edge highlighted. And then after that, the next big thing is, I don't really know, like I don't want to edge highlight the white because there's a ton of it. I may go through and just pick out a few things, but I think I'm going to try to do a real good kind of varnish over it so I can then do a wash. Like this is going to be like most of my Star Commander stuff is pretty clean looking. This may end up looking a lot dirtier than I'd like. I don't know if that's going to be bad or good. Hopefully it looks fine still. Hopefully it's still the main color scheme, so I hope it fits well. But I'm definitely going to do the like White Spirits oil wash over it because it is a big model. I really want to get it in those recesses, but I don't want to spend a ton of time. So I'm going to kind of just do like the oil wash kind of coat over a lot of it, and then take the White Spirits again and then wash away a lot of the excess, which will give it a little bit more of a grimier look than most of my other stuff. But hopefully it works and I can get a decent amount off that I can still, you know, make it shine well. Because again, like a lot of issues that I'm having is like, because this isn't my day job, I don't have 8 hours a day to spend on models and projects like most of us. And so that's causing a lot of my backlog issue of just being able to keep up with everything. Because like I said, it also wouldn't be as bad if I didn't have a family. If I was just like single at my house, apartment, whatever, it would be really super simple. I mean, I have like no life outside of the hobby pretty much, but it wouldn't be as hard to put in like an 8 hour day at work, come home and then like just paint until midnight and, you know, get stuff done every day of the week. But that is not the case. So I'm always looking for ways to try to speed up the process while maintaining the aesthetic that I want. This is a kind of a big risk. I'm really nervous about doing it because it is a big, expensive model. But that's also why I want to do it, because it's a big model, not the expensive part. I don't want to ruin it. I don't think I necessarily will ruin it. I just don't know if it'll end up looking, there's something on it here, but looking quite like I'm hoping it will with the rest of the army. Now, if it all works out perfectly, everything will go nicely in the recesses, and with the white spirits, I'll be able to clean up a good majority so it looks very clean across the board as far as, you know, and then can make it look kind of more, you know, dirty and worn in places it should be. But yeah, I just don't want it to end up looking like a muddy mess, or like, you know, like it just took a mud bath and then didn't get out of there very well. I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go. I really hope it turns out. So yeah, just stay tuned for that. I'm super nervous about it, but I'm definitely hoping at the very least. I only have about like a few weeks really to get this done. So I'm really hoping to get this done before the move. Like I said, I got the green pretty much left. I don't know about the white. I might try to do a light kind of dry brush in a few areas with a brighter kind of white and pick out some areas, or might go through the brush and just hit like rivets and stuff. I'm not too sure on that right now. It's white. It's just a pain with the white to go through and highlight, because especially again a bigger model, all the panels and everything like I've done in the past, it does take a long time. So I'm trying to be better and be more selective with what I do and don't edge highlight. Because really, I mean, it's for the majority of the time it looks good as is. It's just, yeah, how it goes. But that's pretty much it for now. Like I said, I'm pretty excited to get this done. I think it's gonna look great. I just don't know, like I said, the aesthetic wise, it may even be just a fine. It'll probably look fine on its own. It's just when I put it with the rest of the army, is it gonna fit in? That's kind of more my concern. Or is it gonna look too out of place because it's too dirty, too messy, and everything else isn't? And then of course I could go back, and then if I do like, maybe I like the way it looks and the dirtiness of it, I could go back through like my repulsors and stuff, and do the same kind of wash maybe, and dirty them up more, and maybe that'll be the more grim dark approach that I start to take things, maybe, which could be that could be a good thing. So we'll see. We'll have to go through and see. But yeah, so just stay tuned to the channel. As I said, like as I get updates, as things progress and go, I will do my best to update on the channel. Also, I update and share things that on Facebook, which, you know, as news and stuff comes out, it's a little bit easier just to post my reactions and my thoughts real quick there. I know a lot of people like to make videos on their reactions on what they just released and all that, which is all great. But there's just so many of them, like I kind of get lost in the crowd right now, as I'm still trying to build audience and all that kind of stuff. Which, you know, you could say like, well, just put it out there because you're not going to get an audience if you don't put anything out there. And it's like, I get that, but like, again, time is a luxury I don't really have, especially when it comes to like the editing portion. Like I don't really even edit a crazy anything with mine. I try to keep it super simple, kind of a templated thing, just kind of like an intro video, the end, and that still takes up a decent amount of time. But anyway, Yeah, I mean that's kind of it right now. I guess I'll give my quick thoughts on the Augustus thing. I do and don't like it. I like it from the standpoint of it's coming with another five squad of heavy intercessors, where I have one squad done and painted. I have three in box still, so it'd be nice to get another one so that way I can have four 5-man squads or two 10-man squads potentially. It'd be nice to just have that to flush it out. The Brutalis Dreadnought I think looks really cool. I shared a thing on my Facebook about that and how I'm going to, and I have some thoughts and stuff. I want to bring it into the army, but make it kind of like XL. I already have XR from the TV show um, as one of the Dreadnoughts, as a Redemptor Dread, and then I would like to bring in his technically older brother XL, which was a experimental ranger. I don't remember like why they called him XL other than in the show he's bigger, and so it's like a play on words kind of thing. XR means experimental ranger, so he's a robot that they kind of were using to potentially replace space rangers or something. XL was his predecessor, his older brother that went like crazy, and is now like one of the villains in the show. But the aesthetic of the Brutalis reminded me so much of his aesthetic in the show, especially with like those claw hands and stuff. So I kind of want to bring that in there, but his color scheme is so far from what my Star Commander's color scheme is. But I kind of have a thought on how I'm going to do that. Like I'm going to still keep like the main white and green for him, but his left arm, I have an idea there, and then his right arm, I have an idea there, and then as well as the head being a red color for XL, I'll do like a red head idea with that. So I think with hopefully with those two arms and the head, that may bring it in enough to be like, okay, yeah, I can see where it's still this army, but it's also like taking the nod to XL. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do anything with the legs because he also has like different color. Like he basically like sheds his old body when he was experimental robot, and then pieces himself into a bigger robot, but then with all these different like arms and legs and stuff. He's kind of like a Frankenstein kind of deal. Um, but yeah, so I think I have an idea there. I think I'm excited to put that forward. So that's probably going to be like one of those things I was talking about where like I want to get that box and I'm probably going to put that together and work on that sooner than other projects that I probably should be working on. I'm pretty excited about that idea. I think will look cool. And then I can't remember the Desolute are they're the new Devastator things. I can't remember what they're called. Desolution or I don't know. They look crazy. Everyone's talking about them. I've posted some memes I found around the internet on my Facebook, which are pretty funny, and so much so I think I'm just gonna go in full in on it, and I'm gonna paint them up like I do with my Star Commanders, my heavy supports with the black helmets. Um, but their guns, I'm gonna try to go the Nerf route. I really, you know, a lot of people kind of joke and think my whole army is a meme in of itself, and kind of. I mean, it's definitely a passion project, a love letter to the hobby, and to, I really wish they weren't trying to bury that Buzz Lightyear Star Command cartoon. It is so good. Like if you haven't seen it, just definitely go out and try to search it up and find it. There's so many good characters in it. Like one of my favorite ones is the Wirewolf episode, where essentially like this space ranger gets bitten by like a computer. Well, NOS4A2, which is another play on words. He's an energy vampire, which again another play on words. And he feasts on robots, and steals their energy. But he actually bites a human, and it actually infects the human, and he turns into this wire wolf, like a robot werewolf. It's a really good show. I mean, for what it was at the time, and when I wasn't quite a kid. I was like right at the entrance to like high school age and stuff. So I was like probably too old to be watching it, but it was just too good. It was too interesting. I really liked it. It's too bad that the show didn't try to like stick more to that lore, or not the show, the new movie that came out, because that universe, that version is just so cool. But anyway, um, yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna go the Nerf color scheme on those guns just because why not? I already do a purple gun casing on all my weapons, so switching that over to like a neon green, and plus they're already got like a green on their armor, So trying to go a more neon green color would probably work out just fine. And then, like I said, I already have, so it probably won't stick out as much as it would with like the Ultramarines color scheme, as in the meme where someone recolored them in the Nerf colors. With mine, you probably won't really notice it too much, but I definitely plan on uh, doing like a neon green casing, which will be a little bit of a difference from my normal purple. And then like the pinkish kind of color like in the meme, and then like the missiles being like an orange color. So I think that's where I'm going to go with that. But anyway, all right, well, let me stop the rambling. Again, thanks for watching. That's what I got going on. Thanks for your support, for following along. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below. You can check out my Facebook and Instagram, where I post pretty regularly there with different updates and just thoughts and stuff that come up. And again, just please subscribe to the channel and follow along, as hopefully I can get back into uploading more content and more ideas, thoughts, all that kind of rambling stuff that you can just listen to hear another hobbyist share their thoughts while you're doing your hobby, painting, building, whatever it is. And yeah. All right. Well, again, thank you, and until next time.